Are younger generations lazy, disinterested, or both? It's a question some industries are grappling with as they struggle to hire younger workers. For some, it's near impossible, with family businesses considering throwing in the towel.
The problem is that there's a stigma in Australia with young people about taking on jobs, rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty.
Times change, unfortunately. I'm probably one of the last old school kids around. Everyone's more interested in Instagram.
Paul Bucciarelli has no doubt his industry is on life support.
We are in dire straits in this country when it comes to manufacturing, and we need the new generation to come forward, a balanced generation who will appreciate what we have and what we need in this country, the hard work, the hard yakka, and not feel like there's a stigma behind doing that sort of work.
His business Stripco in Sydney's West, a blasting and powder coating plant, was started by his migrant father Luigi and uncle Giuseppe in 1959. He's got plenty of work, but is staring down the barrel of closing because he hasn't got one key ingredient: workers. The ones he has are ageing.
One of them is 72 years of age and should have retired by now. The rest of them are in their late 50s and 60s. And we need a new generation to come through, and we have not been able to find them.
Paul points the finger firstly at Australia's obsession with university education.
The reality is we have an unbalanced workforce in this country. Too many people educated, earning very little money.
This is very important to realise. As he says, too many educated people earning too little. People don't realise that there's a limited amount of jobs out there for the university degrees. So the university degrees don't cover all industry and all the jobs out there, they cover a part of it. So if you have too many people getting those degrees, they just earn a lot less than people in the past used to do, because there is supply and demand problems. So look for jobs that universities don't offer degrees for, and often you'll find the salaries are far higher.
The reality is we have an unbalanced workforce in this country. Too many people educated, earning very little money, and too much competition in those areas, and in other areas like construction and getting your hands dirty, not enough people. And
secondly, at a failure in migration.
I don't understand why we have 100,000 Uber drivers coming into the country delivering, McDonald's, burgers from down the road, when we need 100,000 more people to support manufacturing.
His theories are supported by statistics. Demographer Simon Kustenmacher.
In the 70s, a quarter of all jobs took place in factories. So we do have potentially an over-educated Australia, if you will, because about half of a year 12 level will end up going to university these days. So that means there is a limited stock of people that would go into what are largely TAFE level type jobs in manufacturing.
I just want to mention, I think the wording is wrong here. Often I've heard that we have over-educated employees. Going to university doesn't mean you are over-educated or that you've got much of an education at all. In fact, there are people who are operating, or technicians operating, extremely complex machines or in manufacturing that are far more educated within their field than university graduates. In fact, I know of the top factories in the world where the top technicians that did not go to university but were educated through apprenticeships that say, please don't bring any engineers from university here, because they are not nearly as good as the technicians that have learnt over 20 years of experience, where these university graduates think like book knowledge just after you've got your degree is far more valuable than that. In fact, Einstein said there's only one type of knowledge, and that is experience. So university, the wording that we've got over-educated people because they went to university could be totally false. If you take education being the ability to do amazing things within businesses, then you might actually have undereducated people because they're going to university and they're not actually getting enough experience in the industry itself.
Paul says the focus on education has led to a warped shaping of young people's work expectations.
As much money as possible, lifestyle, and preferably working from home. That's pretty much what they're looking for today. And society, government, our education institutions have educated them in that way and pushed them in that direction to feel like they're entitled. And it's not necessarily their fault. Even as parents, we're to blame by pushing them to educate themselves regardless of whether they can or can't.
His son Daniel went down the path of a university education.
During school, everyone would just go to university. You know, that was the stigma at the time. You know, you have to go to uni, have to go to uni. This one's done.
He completed a finance degree, but threw it in to work with Dad.
Your dad's worried about the future of the business. Are you worried too?
Oh, 100%, you know. I've asked cousins, younger cousins, older cousins, you know, people who, you know, are sort of hands-on and have a, you know, a general understanding of being a hands-on person, a bit cluey in that, but they're just like, no, I'd rather just stay at home, you know, work from home, work on a laptop all day or whatever, go and sit in an office, air-conditioned, nice and relaxed.
We just need people that are you know, smart and willing to want to do this work, and our industry's always trained people up, but if there's no soldiers to train, what's the point?